anything than it is about like a political president. And they really don't like America, and they're very public about it. And so, how could that destabilize the region, especially, let's say, relations between Turkey and Iran, which are two of the biggest superpowers in the region? Iran, I think, has a population of close to 100 million people, and not a small country at all. And that's why they're sort of like a pretty dominant force in the area because that's a huge fighting force, especially if you compare it to the other countries in the surrounding areas. So let me see if I can find an example. So I mean, I'm Lebanese. I think the total population in Lebanon is less than 7 million, right? Just for context. So you're looking at all these small countries. You have Jordan, Palestine, you got all these countries in the Middle East. Iran is by far the largest. That's kind of why they have that stronghold and are able to basically throw their weight around, fund these proxy wars, and basically make everybody else's life harder. So, CA members, drop something in the chat. Let's get this show on the road. Let me know if you guys are awake. I've had a long day, weekend in general, so I'm a little tired, slightly. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I'm just tired. Um, so I might space out, but I am still gonna find these trades because I could do this in my sleep. And hopefully I can show you guys what that looks like. You don't gotta be in the best state of mind to do the analysis, but you do have to, like, the benefit of doing the analysis on a Sunday is the markets are closed, right? Even though technically they're open, we're not trading Asia session. And so for me, markets are still closed. So even though I might not be as sharp as I need to be, let's say, like if I was to actually be trading for the analysis, because I know what I'm looking at, because I know what I'm doing, I can draw it all up early in the week, hopefully on Saturday, Sunday, and then just let these levels play out for the entire week, which is exactly what we're going to be doing here. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to talk about a few things. Iranian president. Let's go through the calendar for the week. Two big events that I'm watching are preliminary GDP. So, oh, sorry. First, we have consumer confidence on Tuesday, and then preliminary GDP on Thursday. Okay. So these are there we go. These are two very big measures to see if we're headed into the recession or if we're kind of able to pull away here and avoid the recession, do the soft landing. Soft landing, again, kind of reminder for you guys. We're going to bring inflation down so prices come back to where they were supposed to be without crashing the economy, without people losing their jobs. Because again, I know I always talk about this, but I think it's important to remind folks the easiest way to bring prices down is for a lot of people to lose their jobs, right? Because if no one can afford stuff at the stores, they're either going to just let it sit there all day, which stores don't do, or they're going to sell it for less in order to incentivize people to come back in. Um, and so right now, I think the Fed, the Treasury, everybody's trying to avoid that big crash, and they're still trying to slowly bring inflation down. How are we doing on the inflation? Big picture, we're doing good. If you look at 20, like obviously 2020 was a crazy year because of COVID, but 2021 and 2022, we reached 9% inflation as a peak, and then we just slowly started to back it. I think in 2023, was it? No, 2022, we ended the year at 5.2% inflation. And I think 2023, we came in with about 4%, maybe just slightly under. So we're still headed in the right direction. We're still getting inflation back down to the 2% target. But now the whole question comes back to, do we believe the government numbers for CBI? Right? There's been so much reason, and we can break this down in more detail. But how you measure the basket of goods that people are spending on will determine the inflation rate. And so if everybody is buying, I don't know, let's say something like if they're not putting in Netflix subscriptions, but 90% of American households have a Netflix subscription, they're not getting an accurate read of what people are actually spending. Because if your subscription goes from $10 to 15, what is it? If that's a 50% jump. That ain't no 3% inflation. That's 50%. Haircuts went from, let's call it 25 to 35. That's damn near 40% inflation. Don't quote me on that last one. I kind of just I really just shot in the dark on that one, but it's close enough. So the whole point is if you really take the stuff that people are actually spending money on, all of that has gone up way more than 3, 4%. But based on the government numbers across this basket of goods that they're surveying, things are looking better, which is cool because they turn the money printers on and everybody eats. So as soon as we're out of the inflation mess, the party can continue. The Fed can start pumping money into the economy and into the banks. Lending starts back up, and hopefully we get this, really get some momentum for the GDP growth. So two sides of a different coin. Consumer confidence really is like one of the earliest indicators. It's basically a sentiment survey of consumers on their ability or on their like how confident are they in their ability to spend. Okay, if your few close friends have lost their job, two neighbors down the street lost their job, had to move, you're not going out there spending like crazy. All right, you might start to, be a lot more reserved. And consumer confidence is dangerous because sentiment has this like domino effect, right? If everybody is worried about the ability to spend, what happens? They stop spending. Okay. And if they stop spending, then what happens? Stores don't make money. Suppliers, manufacturers, distributors, everyone's losing money. What do those folks do? Fire people who's got no money, right? And then that is what leads to a recession. So, despite kind of the common education today about the efficient market hypothesis, I don't buy into that shit. All right. I'm big on George Soros's theory of reflexivity. And so right now there's no recession. If everybody starts panicking and talking about recession, and all of us are going to start to spend different. We'll become a lot more conservative. Not politically, I just mean in terms of our spending habits, which in turn will cause an economic slowdown, which will cause kind of smart companies, they will cut folks early, and then that's what will just snowball the whole thing. That could have happened this year, but the Fed said no chance. Okay. So pretty light week, except for those two events. We'll be keeping an eye out on those. 1.3%, not good. Okay, as a rule of thumb, and I completely made this up, but I do think it's a pretty reasonable rule of thumb, is you want GDP, the percentage of growth in the economy, to outpace the inflation rate. Okay, they're not that correlated with each other, but I do think that that's a healthy balance. So for example, if the inflation is 2%, the way it normally is, you want your GDP to at least be growing more than 2%, which is how things have kind of always been in good years. Right now, this is saying, oh, this is quarterly or annual? Oh, that's quarterly. But this is an annualized number. Hold on. Okay, yeah, it is annualized. Okay, so yeah, 1.3% GDP growth. Guys, this is horrendous. We ain't growing ourselves out of this problem. We need to make more money. If you guys think about this as like a household budgeting problem, that is the US is a household budgeting problem. You gotta like you can keep trying to knock down $5 here and $10 here and $20 here. At some point, you gotta improve your earning capacity. That's the only way to grow out of certain problems. The skills that you have right now are not going to pay you enough to get out of this. And so that's kind of where America is at as a country, which is we better start getting AI, crypto. We better start really helping folks. We better make gambling illegal again, right? So people stop wasting their fucking money. Instead, go do something with it, right? Invest in these companies that are the future of America. Goddamn, do something. You guys get me? We need to boost this number. Okay, tirade over about GDP. Christine, good to see you. C4, we're out here. They count fixed costs or variable costs in the data. I think I don't know if they're fixed. Everything is variable when you're looking at CPI because they're measuring the change in prices. What do you think about the NVIDIA 10-to-1 split? Go time to invest or wait it out? I'll be honest, not. I've personally not very big on individual stock picking or individual stock timing. We're going to look at a chart here in a little bit of the video, so I'll be able to kind of hopefully give you some guidance. But I trade the NASDAQ and invest in the NASDAQ specifically because, like, yes, the other 490 or the other 99 names might not be as important as NVIDIA, might not be as big or have the growth potential, but they do provide some kind of a risk-weighted balance to where if NVIDIA crashes, you don't want all your money gone. And the NASDAQ just represents NVIDIA and other technology companies that are leading. All right, keep in mind, Cisco and IBM were the leaders in the 90s and the 80s in computing. No one thought that anybody would ever come displace them. And then Microsoft comes out, right? No one ever thought that anyone would ever be able to touch Microsoft ever again. Apple comes out. You guys understand? So it's like, um, yeah, bet on the index. You're more likely to be directionally correct and bet on something that has a big future potential. Okay, let's go through the charts. Quick reminder to everybody watching on YouTube, NASDAQ Masterclass, June 14th to the 17th. If you guys want a tried and true tested strategy for trading the NAS 100 or NQ or any variation, whether it's futures, CFDs, spot, or just investing, make sure to sign up for the NAS Masterclass. Link is in the description below. We also have a free webinar every Wednesday and every Saturday that you guys can register for. If you're not ready to take the leap of purchasing the class, you can come to those webinars and sort of get your value. Cool. All right. Let's do NASDAQ. To delete the sauce here. So for Chart Addicts members, this isn't rocket science. Okay. And so depending on which push comes first, very straightforward. Now, for everybody else, go ahead and take a look at this about as smooth as we can. Gotta zoom out. First, let's go to the 4-hour. Easy enough. Let's go ahead and plot that support right here. Beautiful. So if you guys are a bit more new to trading, what you'll notice is that the market will consolidate the majority of the time and then trend. I don't say very rarely because the market is trending here, but this is this area of no traffic, very aggressive movement is not the common, like it's not the norm, right? You'll typically have more sustained trends. So we have this area here where there's no traffic, okay? And then we have this new area of support. Members, okay? What fib do you think that, I'm not even going to ask you. You guys already know what fib this is. Oh my God. This is just horrendous. You can't. I was gonna say you couldn't even make this up, but somebody could have made this up. J.K. Rowling could have made this up. That's how crazy this is. Max, you already know the deal. You already know the deal. Okay. Giveaway for the 88.6 Boys Collection, which is our merchandise line around kind of the master class concept. Not really going to go too deep into that. We want to do a raffle. We want to do some kind of giveaway. And we're kind of thinking about how we want to do it. I think Tuesdays, tomorrow's Memorial Day. I'm not going to be streaming. Actually, maybe we'll get a little schliz, do some Memorial Day streams, kind of keep it light. But Tuesday for sure, I will be streaming the New York Market Open, and we got to have some kind of competition or something. It's like the next 10 people to sign up for the master class after the stream, after today's stream, get put in a raffle to win the first ever hard copy, fresh off the press, 88.6 Boys t-shirt. If you guys have taken the class, you know exactly what it is. You've made a shit ton of money from trading the strategy, hopefully. And so it ain't nothing to, rep, get some merch and all that. All right. So pretty simple stuff. Let me just break this down. NASDAQ created a new higher high and new higher low. So clearly the market is not only bullish, but we've already sort of established a new structure, which makes our life a whole lot easier. So there's a few ways to look at this. I'll give you guys just the two ways. Number one is price comes back down to the daily. I would consider this the weekly or the daily floor right here at 18,575, and we can buy at that discounted price, no problems. Okay, so that's more of a deeper retracement because if you guys notice this area of structure right here, and then this area of structure here, we would have to break through all of those levels, break just below, which was one of my entry zones from last week, and then that would be the entry. Now, to be completely honest, I had a bunch of before and afters marked up, and had a bunch of damn, like I think the Wednesday stream, Friday stream had the before and afters. The trades absolutely smashed. Everything smashed except for Friday. Friday we just let it go, kind of just watched it happen. Um, and while it was pumping up, I told everybody just wait for the pullback. Okay, so there's two versions of this pullback. Number one is that deep correction below the Asia lows, and I think that that would be my ideal. Okay, so just below and up. Second one would actually just be, all right, touch of that before we go, right? Use your fibs, ChartAddicts members. And then last but not least, we have this micro structure here, where if the market's very aggressive, what it'll do is it'll create that wedge and then just keep going from this very smaller time frame area of structure. So then what I want to do is look left and find a common area of support on the chart. Because if the market continues to form support there, and for some reason the market keeps coming back to that zone, you want to pay attention. There's something to that level. So there's option one, option two, and option three. And what do they all have in common? I'm bullish on NASDAQ. Big surprise. Wow. Roy's bullish on NASDAQ. Isn't that crazy? That's absolutely insane. All right. Good stuff. What do you think about NVIDIA? Facts, you can cut as much cost as possible. You still got to start making more money to combat that. Which ETF do you suggest? Are we talking about Ethereum? Or are you talking about the NAS 100 ETFs? I'm not going to recommend a specific firm, but I'll be honest with you, it really doesn't matter. They're all so close to each other. It, just go to any of the reputable brokerages or financial service companies. I just signed up yesterday. Artist, man, we'll put you in the raffle, but chill. We'll put you in the raffle. All right. There's no cry on the streams. Can I check US 30? Oh, I'm gonna hit you with that, third grade teacher. Can I? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. You guys see me do this live every day. You guys tell me, can I? Oof, this was not a good call at all. Well, actually, did we get a rejection? Not even close. Huh. They can't all be great calls, people. Can't all be great calls. What is happening? Oh, no. Huh. Ah, shit. This is this was just 2 days? That's crazy. Okay, let me just break something down for you guys real quick. Location of a pattern is everything. We talk about this in the class a lot. You can find a pattern or a model or something in the randomest place in the chart, it's not relevant. You find it at the right place, maybe an area of supply and demand, all of a sudden, very important pattern. Let's take a look at this. Very simple concept again that we teach, not in the masterclass, but in the Forex course, which is M's and W's. Okay, W's take you up, M's take you down. So the anatomy of like a full release kind of M goes first candle doesn't break the low, second candle breaks the low. Okay. Third candle is indecisive, fourth candle comes up for the retest. You guys follow? Let's go ahead and track this out. First candle is bearish, second candle breaks the low, okay, just like this one did. Third candle is indecisive. Uh-huh. It's 3 for 3. Last but not least would be a retest back to that previous area of structure, kind of clear it, just like this, and then for one more move. Now, I don't really know what the market's doing here. Um, it, I don't want to say this is like the top of the market, but this is giving me the top of the market kind of vibes, and I don't know why. Because structurally in the economy or in capital markets, nothing is pointing to an emergency that would lead to stocks crashing for no reason. You say, well, what about the Iranian president? That's bullish. Everything's bullish for America. Gabriel says buys. Yeah, I agree. We're gonna have to come back to this one. This one's a tough one. Bro, that big, yeah, we got the W. We got the M inside the little W, inside of the big ass W, inside of the big ass M that's forming. But I don't know what to tell you. Okay, all I see is M's, M's. All I see is W's. Right? All right, cool stuff. US 30, we're gonna come back to this. I don't want to say it's bearish, but if it's bearish, we're retesting 39,500, and we actually have a good amount of room on the downside. Super secret magnet indicator hit the final target and just dipped, came all the way back to our entry price. And that is why the super secret magnet indicator can't fight it, can't touch it. If you can't beat them, join them. That, ladies and gentlemen, is why the secret magnet indicator is the greatest tool in the world for traders. Look how generous the market was. Broke a little bit. All right. Testing the magnet, came right back under. Right back under. And just hung out here. Isn't that crazy? Okay. And then on the way back, we got that 23.53, had a little bit of support before we inevitably dropped. Okay. Now, a lot of you guys are going to be thinking, Roy, how did you know? No. What you guys are thinking is, Roy, what's next on gold so I can make some money? That's probably closer to what you're thinking. And I'll oblige. Show you guys exactly what I'm looking at. First, this looks a little bearish. Okay, now we did break under, we did break above, and now we are starting to find some support here. So there's a chance. But 1, 2, 3, you got to count the waves. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's gotta be 3. I'm just thinking out loud, guys. Um, Tough. I'm looking for the market to continue to consolidate in this area. If it does wick or kind of move down, I do expect a sharp recovery here. And I'd feel very comfortable taking buys above the zone if the market establishes a new support with liquidity grabs. Okay, because you gotta get hunted first, right? You gotta realize that you're the bait, and then you can get in with full positions. That makes sense? Kind of feel like I'm rambling. It's been like I said, been a long weekend in a good way, just busy, tons of meetings, tons of waking up at random times at night to meet with people around the world. But no complaints here. Does the strategy work on other pairs? Euro, JPY, straight to the extension from the entry fib. I'm shocked and astounded, just like the rest of you. I'm sitting here and say, there's no way it works on everything. It does. All right. Now I'm waiting for Bitcoin to do its thing. I need this thing to melt. Big M forming on the higher time frames. Let's talk Ethereum ETF real quick. and the Iranian president kind of wrap things up, putting those together. Well, not together. I'm putting those in the same segment, but giving them their piece. Iranian president killed helicopter crash, allegedly killed helicopter crash. Got to watch that one. Apparently he just flew into fog, like during the one of the most consequential times in Iran's history, right around the time that there's a lot of political unrest. Something doesn't seem right here. Iran is blaming the US. Just like Russia kind of had a feeling that it was the US that blew up the Nord Stream over in Europe. Not good. Now, is the president of Iran, like the guy that we killed, that we took out, is he a good dude? I'm not here to judge good and evil. He's kind of a savage. They used to call him the hangman, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, just killing everybody. Political descendants or dissent, whatever the fuck the thing is, where you just disagree with their political opinions. Okay, long story short, destabilization in the region. Two things to watch out for: Turkey and Iran relations, because a destabilized Iran is going to make it a lot harder in that region for progress. Okay, let's see what else. Um, I think the whole goal for this, and I'm trying to kind of piece this together. I think the goal for a foreign power to take out the Iranian president is to create the civil war division between the ultra conservative religious sort of what is it called, theocrats, and then like the actual people's government of Iran. The people in the streets have kind of been on both sides because you see in Israel, they kind of had protests against Netanyahu for being too aggressive and wanting to sort of go to war. Same thing happens in all countries. And right now, Iran being in civil war means they can't fund the Houthis, they can't fund Hamas, and they can't fund Hezbollah, which puts the rest of the world kind of just gives us a chance to breathe. These guys going around kind of fucking everything up. So I don't know who did it, but just about everyone had the motive to take out the president. I just think it was very poor timing, and I just feel like it could lead to an escalation that doesn't need to happen. So they're saying no foul play, but it also was the fucking BBC for whatever's that's worth. So I think that they'll figure out what happened. The leader of a country doesn't just see a massive storm and fly right into it, at least from what I know. Okay, and what else? Ethereum spot ETF gets approval from the SEC. Okay, they got their 19Bs approved. I think it was eight names got approved to push a Ethereum ETF. BlackRock, Vanguard, who else? Franklin Templeton, Galaxy. I'm a Invesco Galaxy. I'm a big fan of Galaxy Digital. Mike Novogratz. Who else got approved? ARK Investments, Kathy Wood. She got approved. So everyone who wants to keep talking shit about Kathy and her innovation fund, she's about to make you eat your words. 5, 10 years, she'll win because she invested in all these things that people are shitting on her for now, and everybody else will look like an idiot. So shout out to Kathy for getting approval through ARK Investments for the Ethereum ETF. Now, keep in mind, these are not going to start getting traded until a few more forms get approved. So for now, still in the same spot, but it is a massive step forward for Ethereum holders and Bitcoin holders. Here's my thing. I own a lot of crypto and I've consistently been buying more and I'm looking to continue to buy more. And this next bull run, I think, is going to be absolutely savage in a good way. I think that an ETF is a chance for institutions to buy the real asset and then sell you some fake bullshit certificate on the back end so that you can just be reliant on them. How do you keep the people from wanting to go buy Bitcoin, Ethereum? Because that's just going to create a lot of demand. The price is going to go through the roof. It's going to create so much like a block in the whole market. For me personally, uh, I think it's a good idea because it allows a lot more people to get invested. You have to buy the underlying asset, Ethereum or Bitcoin, to even launch securities on top. So like any derivatives or securities that you first you have to launch a security. So it's the ETF, which represents kind of the price change of Ethereum. And then you have derivatives that will come after, futures, options, swaps, and kind of other high leverage products that will allow people to speculate. And that's what I think is going to take the market to the next level. Now, the only reason to really buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, all this stuff, like obviously we all want to make money. But I think that we've seen enough over the last probably 5 to 10 years about censorship, about government control, about central points of failure where everything is controlled in one place and the places can get hacked and things are not efficient. Okay. So I think that the ETF is a way to cheat people because owning Bitcoin is what gives you real freedom, is what gives you uh, leverage in the future. It's like owning a house. Some people just bought a house back in the day because they could. Like this is what people did. 30 grand, you bought a house. They passed it on to their kids. But nowadays, those houses are worth, 750 grand, 800 grand somewhere. And I think it's going to be the same with Bitcoin. We have a chance now and Ethereum to pick it up while it's low. But if I was the institutions and I didn't want any competition, I would launch derivative products just so people stop asking for the real stuff. Just like they did with gold, right? GLD is the gold ETF that kind of follows gold price. So why the fuck would you want to own like physical gold if you're going to be investing in gold? It's because they don't want the hassle, liability, or risk of custody. So actually holding real gold, but they still want to take advantage of the upside. So those are the two things that are happening. Big, big, big moves for crypto. What's crazy is that approving a spot ETF and acknowledging Ethereum as a commodity, not a security, I think is very important. Because if people are going to build in the crypto space and they know they're going to get shut down for creating a security, everyone's going to go build a commodity. So a smart network where people can build games and people can build um, really just like other really dope utilities. You can build NFT communities on top. You can build smart contracts between two parties. You can do literally anything on Ethereum and Solana. That's the future. Okay. November bull run. Make sure you guys don't miss out. Also in November, this is kind of going back to the crypto thing, since we're talking about cryptos that launch in November. Ha! FXSummit2024.com. Click your link in the description below. Pay yourself. Don't play yourself. Get your money up, not your funny up. See you guys out there in Dubai. Um, that just jokes, everybody. Trying to lighten the mood because I know I'm starting to lose steam here. All right. But FX Summit 2024, the biggest conference in the world for investors, for traders, and for entrepreneurs. It's really mostly a trading conference, but we also want to represent folks who take their trading money and go do remarkable things with it, starting their own enterprises and really allowing those to take over so they're no longer dependent on trading. So come out here, come meet thousands of traders from around the world, hang out with us, see us crush it, doing what we do best. Looking forward to seeing you guys out there. If you're interested in learning this strategy that we trade on NASDAQ, that I will be trading live, okay, in front of everybody, go ahead and click the link in the description, or you can head over to chartaddictsfx.com, head over to live classes. Okay. Happy and safe trading, everybody. Take it easy. Peace.